Well, today we're going to have an introduction to standing meditation. And I think the most important thing first is to know why and what the benefits are. Because if you go into standing meditation with an awareness of how it can help you, you bring that intention into the practice. Now, the good news too is that you don't have to do standing meditation for an hour to get benefit. What I want you to do is just try 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes. And maybe do it like interspersed in your day. If you're working on the computer and you need a break, get up and do a 5-minute standing meditation. Also, I don't want you to put a timer to this. What I do is I put a little stopwatch on, because your perception of time changes as you get into standing meditation. So sometimes I'll do standing meditation and it feels like forever and it's only been 5 minutes. And sometimes it'll feel like 5 minutes and I've actually done 15 to 20 minutes of standing meditation. So it's an interesting thing, but it's not something that I'm pushing towards. Rather, when we assume each posture, I want you to feel what's happening in your body. And then we're always making these micro adjustments. And we're seeking to find that place where your body sings. I want to say it again, where your body sings, so that you are in a place of peaceful song. And it may take 10 minutes to get there, and then it may last for 30 seconds, and then it goes away again. But the goal is to be in this beautiful, soft, calm place where you are able to song your body and the chi can flow more readily. Now, why do we do standing meditation? Well, standing meditation originally was considered a closed door teaching. It was taught for the martial art application. So how ironic that by standing still, they actually found that they developed a great deal of power and ability. And it would then come through in their Tai Chi, in their push hands, and in their martial art. In fact, really, if you want to develop that super high level of being able to move somebody with the least amount of effort, the doorway to that is through standing meditation. You become acutely aware of your body, your tension points, your alignment, and your energy. And those things are all important, whether it's a martial art application, or whether it's our Tai Chi practice, or whether we want to cultivate Chi for healing. And so when we go into that standing meditation, it's for that reason, that purpose. And then they started to find that they were getting some amazing health benefits from it as well. And so it became a wider practice. So why should you do standing meditation? Well, one, it's about postural alignment. So it's going to make your Tai Chi, it's going to ramp up your Tai Chi and make it more enjoyable and more, it'll make it feel good and easier to do. You'll be more comfortable when you do your Tai Chi. The other thing is that it calms your mind and it has great physical health benefits. Yeah, it's powerful. It's like kind of really dialing back, and in dialing back it becomes more pure of a practice. So what I'm going to do is teach you these 3 postures for standing meditation. Then I'm going to take you through a standing meditation. All right, so the standing meditation, right now you might just want to stay seated as I take you through the key points of it, and then we'll stand up and try it together. So I have Tai Chi Tom here, and he has this line, which is actually a straw, through his body. So when we do standing meditation, one of the goals is that we want to align these 3 points of our body. You can think of it as a trinity if you want. We have the Ba Hui, which is the crown of the head, which Tai Chi Tom actually has a nice rope there. So he is going to suspend from the top of his head. That's what we do. That's like our Tai Chi stance. No different, right? But I want you to know where the crown of your head is. Make sure that you're not too far back. It's right here, just exactly where his is. Yeah. So you could feel that if you had a rope pulling up on that, what would that do to your neck and your chin? It actually, if I pulled up on this, it actually tips the chin down a little bit. And I want to say that in advance, because as soon as I say lift the ba hui, most people do this. And imagine you have an egg on the top. If you tip your head back, the egg rolls off, or a drop of water. So you want to hold that drop of water right there on the ba hui point. Yes, that looks great. Then we have the hui yin point, which is at the perineal floor. So for those of you that aren't like anatomically savvy, it's okay. It's the point where it's right between the 2 points where we eliminate. Okay, that is your hui yin. So it would be the exact direct line opposite of the ba hui. Now, as we go through life, our head tends to come forward, and the ba hui gets in front of the hui yin. So when we pull up here, then we're aligned. So we want to align like this straw. See, that's where the qi can just flow whoop right through there. We have the crown of the head and the perineal floor aligned. Then the third point is the bubbling well, and that's at the bottom of your foot. Now, so as you're sitting there, I want you to put both feet flat on the floor and imagine that point on your foot. And that you could feel that point on your foot, on both feet. Okay, some of you are standing, that's fine too. Just become acutely aware of where that point is. So the bubbling well. We have our 3 points. We have the crown of the head, we have the perineal floor, and then we have our bubbling well. That means that we want to get those aligned. And so we have to not be in a super deep stance. Can you see, if we're in a deep stance, how this alignment gets away from the bubbling well? This is a much higher stance. It's a narrower stance. Okay, and I'm just going to let go of the knees a little bit, and then I lean forward just about 5 degrees to get it aligned. Now, he's not anatomically correct, but that's close enough, so that you're aware of those 3 points. So we want to align those 3 points, and that helps to open up the meridians in your body and open up the channel for this qi to flow. But let's go ahead and try that first. We're really allowing our body to get better aligned, and our fascia and our blood vessels and soft tissue, even the bone marrow responds to that, especially when we're not forcing it and being tense. All right, so put your just awareness in the bubbling well. Mine are already starting to tingle. And then let's take our middle fingers and place them on the side seam of your pants. You're not going to hold your arms up. Wherever your arms are loosey-goosey next to your side, and then put your middle fingers on the side seam. So this is connecting a meridian point. Your tongue goes on the upper palate. You're not pressing it, it's just resting there. Now, obviously, I can't do that because I'm talking. Now, let's feel your ba hui, or the crown of your head. Just be aware of it. And then your perineal floor. And if you're not real sure, go ahead and just sort of squeeze those points where we eliminate. Just squeeze it gently, and that gives you awareness of where that point is. And then you can release it for right now. And now try to align your ba hui with the perineal floor. Imagine that orange straw running right through, connecting them. That's very nice. Now pretend that somebody came up behind you and just gently bumped your knees, and you let them go just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to show you again. I'm standing up all the way. I have my crown of my head and perineal floor aligned. I have awareness in my bubbling well. And then I'm just going to pretend that somebody got me behind the knees, and they just let go right there. Now you may feel that the crown of your head and your perineal floor are a little bit behind the bubbling well. So you're just going to grow your toes very long, and your body will start to follow that, and it'll kind of lean forward a little bit. So unlike your Tai Chi stance, where we're putting pressure equally around the foot, in this one, you're going to have a little bit more pressure on the forefoot. A little bit. Now remember, everything is subtle. So if you're way here and your calves are clenching, that's not, or your toes are clenching, that's too much. The best way to get there is just let your toes grow long and let your body follow that a little bit. And now you'll feel more pressure through the bubbling well. Okay, good. Now shake it out a little bit. And we're going to do one more last piece to this is the building block. This is the structure on which we will do the standing meditation postures. I want you to stand back up again, fingers on the side seam, and your feet just slightly apart. Align your bahui and the perineal floor. Feel your bubbling well. And before we let the knees go, I want you to imagine that you have a magic clothesline right across the top of your head. Okay? It's attached. And it's just touching the crown of your head. And it's exactly at your height. So now when you release your knees, I want you to keep this touching the clothesline. As I release, this keeps touching the clothesline. So release your knees, and this stays there. Now you should feel your spine. That looks nice, Lynn. Now you can feel your spine open up. Yes, so it's as though that straw gets a little thinner, but it also gets very nice and long. Okay? Let's try that again, because what tends to happen, I'm going to get a little closer so you can watch. I'm going to do it wrong. Watch the top of my head in relationship to the picture behind me. If I do it wrong, I sit down and everything moves down. That's just too much down. Did you see that? Okay. But if I let go and I stay the same height, see, I just let go of my knees and my head stayed the same height. Yeah. Could you see it? All right, you try that now. Try it a couple times yourself. And if you need a physical cue, you can grab underneath your jaw and like the side of your head like this, or cradle under here, and hold your head as you let go of the knees and feel like you're being suspended from that rope. Once you're there, now you feel your spine open up. Feels really good for your back. Then elongate your toes and a little more pressure over the forefoot, the front of, the bubbling well part. Arms are still loose. You're still loose, but your tendons and ligaments are working for you, so you don't have to hold your muscles to hold your posture as much. Now you may feel your legs working, and eventually, if we do another one of these, like the level 2 or our next class, we can do the inflating into the tension, which will help you to release. Beautiful. All right, good. Shake that out. So even that right there is nice. Like in the morning when I'm waiting for my coffee to brew, that's what I do. Because otherwise I'm waiting for my coffee to brew and, and I'll go start doing a zillion things. No, let's start out our morning just with that. Just stand in front of your coffee maker. It's guaranteed to make your coffee brew faster. And just align all of this, and you'll feel, even from the night, your posture in the night, the tension. And just align your top crown of your head with the perineal floor. Clothesline. Keep your head touching the clothesline. Release your knees a little bit. Your spine opens up. Put your awareness at the bubbling well. Tilt forward just a tiny bit to imagine that those 3 points are connected. And then just fingers to the side here and tongue touching the upper palate. Now what I'm going to do is show you the 4 postures. So what I want you to do is, rather than do them with me to start, I just want you to watch and just see them so you have a good visual of what it looks like. Then we'll go through it together. The first posture, again, it's a little distracting if you do it with me. Don't do it with me. Just, I'm giving you an overview. The first posture is what most people have heard of as hugging a tree. So it's this one. Okay? Then the second posture I call roll the ball. So we'll roll a ball. And then the third posture I call push the wall. So we push the walls. And then we come back to the first posture again, which is hug the tree. Okay? That's it. Simple. I'm going to give you a profile view before you jump in so that you have an idea. We're creating space. So the first one is hug the tree. You see I made a few corrections there. Second one, hold the ball. This is a big beach ball. The third one, push the wall. You see I'm not pushing here. It's still out here. I'm pressing into the wall in my mind, not with muscles. And then back to hug the tree. Oh. Hold the tree, roll the ball, push the wall, and then back to our home position of the tree. Okay, let's do it together. All right, so here we go. Just, I'm sketching it in, then we'll get more detail. Just get in the posture that we just learned. And if you don't feel it, at first I just want you to pretend that your arms are inflating. So they start to inflate and your elbows kind of float out. That's right, they're floating forward away from you. And then bring your wrists together so that they're touching. Remember, this is not Tai Chi, this is standing meditation. Then we're going to take our fingers up along, they can touch you if you want. Now the whole purpose of this is to position our shoulders properly. So don't be like this. It's to open the shoulders and round the shoulders. Do you see that? Yeah, that's why if you bring your fingertips up to your sternum, you can almost, your shoulders are going to do what's right. Fingers touching your sternum like that. Good. Now set your shoulders and open up like a blossom and hold your tree. Okay? Now some of you opened up way out here. That's too much. That's too big of a tree. This is not sequoias. This is probably a Texas oak tree. Okay, now turn your hands down just a little bit and imagine that it's a big beach ball floating on the water. Yes, because you want that buoyant feeling. And you notice that that I'm breaking everything I've taught you. I've taught you elbows down, not higher than chest, etc., etc., etc. Right? But we want to be up because we want this buoyant feeling. So it's like you've got your hands resting on a big, big beach ball that's floating in the water. And your goal in this posture is to feel that you're suspended and you're just hanging your muscles. And the heavy is sinking down. That looks good, DG. But the water is floating up. Okay, good. Now we're not going to hold it too much. That looks good, everybody. Now from here, let's take a breath in. And we've got that big beach ball. We're going to roll to the outer border of the beach ball. Roll it down. And then you're going to tuck underneath the beach ball and hold it. So that means that your elbows are inflated out. Yep. Okay, our elbows are not back here. They're inflated forward and out. So again, I'm just teaching the postures right now. Yeah, Vicki, that looks terrific. Good. Then we're going to take a breath in, and you're just going to let the arms hang from the elbow down and push the hands out. And almost like you feel pressure on the palms of your hands. Yep, Lynn, bring your elbows down just a little more. You're kind of up here, bring it down. More. More. More, more, more. There. Okay, then we're pressing the wall out. Okay, and I'll talk you through it when we do it. But that's the posture. So you see, I'm here. So I'm not up here. It's just sort of hanging, but it's inflated. Very good, Cheryl. Good. Nice. Now we just come back to the home position, so we'll bring our wrist back together. This opens and rounds your shoulders. Okay, if everybody would just grab actually grab your wrists and pull them apart a little bit, like you're doing this. Can you feel your shoulder position there? That's what we want. Now go here. That's how your shoulders should be. Good. And then set the shoulders and open up, blossom back up. Good, and rest your hands on that ball. So this is just like the hug the tree, it's just like the very first one. Okay, Janice, bring your hands closer together. There we go. Yeah, good, Richard. Good. Very nice. Yeah, now let's go ahead and just release and shake it out a little bit. Now, it's a surprising workout. So when we do the standing meditation, if tomorrow you're sore, don't be surprised. It is a form of exercise. And if you read the page that I sent you, which if you haven't read it, please read it or read it again, it talks about how the benefit of this exercise is that we're not going into cardiac, anaerobic. We're not like working so hard we have to quit. And yet we're accessing all the cells, all the muscles, everything during this exercise. Okay, so real quick, let's review those postures again. Okay, so everybody, every time we go in to hug the tree, you're going to do it from here out. And the reason is so that we get our shoulders in that posture. And if you forget what the shoulders should feel like, just pull your wrist a little bit. That's where your shoulders should be. See, my scapula, it's flat and broad. In other words, it's not here. I don't know if you can see it, but if I'm here, my scapula are retracted. But I'm not protracting them, I'm not pushing them forward. It's just a natural opening and rounding and flattening of the scapula. So yeah, that's better. Okay, so that really helped. Good. Now what's the next posture? Show me. So it's hug a tree. Okay, that's all right. That's right, sure, Sandy. Then we've got the ball. Roll the ball. There we go. And when you roll the ball, that's better, Lynn. Make sure your elbows are forward, that they're not back. Again, it keeps our back open. From roll the ball, it rhymes, so we push the wall. And your elbows really don't move much there, we're just changing the angle from the elbows down. Yeah. And some of you still are up here. Let it go a little more. That's it, good. And then from here, we hug the tree again, so we come up, open the back, and blossom out. Rest your arms on the ball. So you have 4 postures. You have the tree, roll the ball, push the wall, the tree. Simple. Tree, ball, wall, tree. Okay. Now when we do this, if you find that you're getting really super uncomfortable before I move, then you go on and move to the next one without me. Okay? How do you know when to change postures? When you're doing this on your own, you just get to the point where it becomes a little uncomfortable but not painful. And listen to your body and listen to your mind, and you'll know, okay, now it's time to change. And since I've been doing it for a while, I may be staying in a posture a little longer than you're comfortable, but I'm not going to push it. I'll do short durations. All right, so we're going to start. Also, I forgot to mention the lateral border of your feet. The outside is supposed to be parallel, which makes you feel a little knock-kneed. If that's super duper uncomfortable, then you ease into it. So you can start out a little toed out and then eventually start working toed in over a period of weeks. If you're in this position and it's not totally uncomfortable and you feel so knock-kneed, then just pretend that you have a ball that's inflating, but you're not letting it inflate your knees out. it's inflating and you're kind of squeezing in on that ball, if that makes sense. Yeah, you can feel it. There it is, I can feel that. Nice. All right, so standing up all the way. First, align the crown of your head with the perineal floor. And now put your awareness at the bubbling well. And as you release your knees, keep the crown of your head touching that clothesline. So release your knees just a little bit. Your middle finger on the side seam. And then you're just going to imagine your toes growing very long, and that's going to bring your body forward a little bit so you can feel a little more pressure on the fore part of your feet where the bubbling well is. Now we're going to breathe in, breathe out, bringing your hands to the center, breathe in, set your shoulders and blossom out, breathe out. And rest your arms on top of that ball. And you want to feel sort of as though you're floating rather than sinking. So the sinking is a feeling that you're releasing your muscles and they're getting softer and longer. Your neck muscles getting longer. And then put your awareness at your quad and see if you can't breathe into that quad, both of them, and inflate them a little bit. That helps to release them. Just keep putting your awareness back into imagining that you're floating in a body of water. And that body of water is encasing you and supporting you. And you can let go of your muscles more and more. Let your shoulders be heavy. And you feel your spine still elongating. Feel your body in the space around you and how it occupies that space. Imagine that your skeleton, your ligaments and your tendons can hold you up and your muscles can disengage. Beautiful. If you feel tension, just breathe into it and inflate it. Imagine it's a balloon. Beautiful, nice. Now we'll go into roll the ball. So let's breathe in. And on your out breath, roll that big beach ball. Keep your shoulders static. Roll to the outside. And then just support that ball underneath. Beautiful. Now, imagine that ball to start out with is fairly basketball sized. And you're going to inflate the ball, which is right here, into this space, and imagine it can inflate into your body, and it's now touching the inside of your low back. Yeah, Mary, lower your arms more. Down here. Yeah. So it's inflating into the dantian and inflating so that it touches the inside of your low back. It almost acts like a splint. You can feel it. And now inflate it to become a bigger ball, and it goes up to this part of your spine on the inside, and it's touching it. And it inflates even more, so it's now working its way up all the way to under your chin, and it's touching the inside of your spine, providing a nice brace and support. You can imagine that you're a big sail and you're capturing, pocketing all of that wind. Beautiful. Now we'll breathe in and breathe out, and just gently push the walls away from you as though you were in a narrow hallway. Beautiful. That's very nice, Jackie. Now feel this pressure in your hands. It's like imaginary, but it's kind of there. And now as you breathe in, the walls kind of come in towards you and you're holding the walls off. And as you breathe out, you're pushing the walls away. Natural breath, don't force your breath. That's good, Diane. Putting your awareness in the palms of your hands and feeling that pressure there. Still releasing your muscles, but feeling the pressure in the palms of the hands. All right, now we'll breathe in, breathe out, wrists together, set those shoulders, breathe in. Breathe out and blossom. And now in this one, we want to seek absolute stillness. Still like the dark, calm night. Your toes are growing long, and if your body moves as a response to that, that's fine. Remain in that stillness. Very nice. Now, after you do your standing meditation, it's very important that you go ahead and move this chi, because you've charged it up. It's like we've plugged our battery into the battery charger, and it can overcharge. We don't want to overcharge it, so we're going to spread that chi around now. So drop your hands down and hold your ball. And imagine that you're inflating from the inside throughout your entire body. Feel the inflation first, and then follow it and do a nice open. And then imagine, release and breathe out, and you're pulling in to the core. And at this point you can sit down a little more if you want. You can rise up and down on this. So inflate the body first, and then follow it as you open. And you can float all the way up. You can come out of your stance and then back down. And one more. Expand from the inside out and then follow it. So you're not just waving your arms around arbitrarily and then condensing it down. Good. Then we'll do this commencement form same way. So inflate first. Feel like you're just a big balloon inflating into your skin, and it floats your arms for you. And you can stand up and breathe out and settle back down into the Tai Chi stance now. So you're more equally distributed on your feet. Inflate. And release. And we'll do one more inflate. So ultimately what you want to do is carry that feeling. You'll start feeling a floating feeling in your standing meditation. You want to carry that feeling into these movements. Yes. So after your standing meditation, you'll do open and close, and you'll do commencement form. And last but not least, we're going to shake it out. So I want you to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle your hands. Don't skip this, okay? Wiggle your fingers. You can shake out your arms, shake out your legs. Sorry, Monty, it's okay, buddy. And then do your ankles, because we've been standing, and I did find that, like, if I don't do the ankle rolls really help to release. Yeah, both sides. Okay. Then we'll bounce up and down. You don't have to jump off the ground, just tap your heels. Kind of get the lymphatics flowing. Let it tap, 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 tap. If you're seated, you can just tap your heels. And give yourself a pat on the back for doing it.